the second point here is security and governance. Okay, so certainly in the larger firms, but increasingly in smaller firms, organizations, enterprises are adopting certain plans, certain governance concepts, and saying, well, hang on, at a board level, we've decided to run a business according to this. And if and when you find that applies, you should really get to know that governance. Obviously, you should in any case, but you should really try to view it from a perspective of what does it really mean to you in terms of your role, because it can help you determine scope, and it can help you acquire the levers. I mean, honestly, what we know in most cases is that the entire budget, in many cases anyway, we hear it a lot, the entire budget for security in some organizations is the salary of a security consultant or professional. Obviously, it's not going to be the same as you're running an SOC. It's going to be much, much higher, or you're really established in security. But in some companies, some quite big brand names, the total budget is the salary of the security officer. And so that's quite difficult. And so it's very easy to be given a task with a kind of a poison chalice, because if you're the entire budget and yet you spot that there's massive weaknesses and there just ain't any more money, what can you do? So you have to have or be able to find things like governance in there to kind of provide an umbrella or protection. So basically enables you to go back, you define the scope, and you say, however, this is the scope. This should be in scope, but it's not in scope. In other words, you need a budget, but there's no budget available. Therefore, this level of protection, according to the requirement of governance as well as the requirement of security, isn't possible. And so this boosts, you should be able to boost your communication to the board that ultimately they take that responsibility. You've advised them of the shortfall, if that exists, if that's the situation, and they need to be able to deal with it. Any thoughts on that, Mustafa?
No, you've covered it quite well. The only thing I can add is basically ESORMA is a GRC framework, so governance, risk and compliance. So hence we do focus a bit on governance and what is the responsibility of the people at the top of an organization when it comes to putting management in place for security. And we also talk about building that relationship with senior management and being able to make the case for cybersecurity where a budget might need to be increased if there isn't one. So yeah, it's quite an important part